What does descend via actually mean? You hear it every day, you read it back every day, and every day pilots sometimes have to guess what the clearance actually means. Let me show you why. In 2015, IATA and IFALPA surveyed over 1,000 commercial pilots. 43% reported regular misunderstandings between pilots and controllers on SID and STAR phraseology. Here's one U.S. captain. There is not sufficient clear, understandable phraseology being used in the management of speed and altitude on SIDs and STARs. I find myself way too often wondering exactly what the controller's intent is, and having to confer with the other crew member or ask the controller what they want. This is not a safe environment in which to be traveling in close proximity to other airplanes at a high rate of speed. That captain is guessing. Let's go to the rulebook and see why. The Controller Handbook, the 7110.65, paragraph 457, says a descend via clearance authorizes 3 things at once: comply with the lateral path of the arrival, meet every published altitude restriction on the way down at pilot's discretion, meet every published speed restriction. The pilot picks the when and the how. Now the question that gets pilots into trouble: what's the actual cleared altitude? If the controller transmits an altitude, descend via the arrival to flight level 240. That's the floor. Flight level 240 clean. But the 65 also permits the controller to issue a bare descend via with no altitude transmitted at all. In that case, the floor is the bottom altitude of the procedure, the lowest altitude published on the chart. No altitude on the radio. Both sides are expected to know it. Now the case that breaks both sides. The controller shortcuts the aircraft direct to a waypoint on the arrival. If the pilot is already on a descend via and the controller sends them direct to a downstream waypoint, the descent carries forward. The pilot continues to meet the published restrictions. Clean. But if the controller bundles it, proceed direct Danny, then descend via the arrival. The word then is doing work the rulebook doesn't define. Is the descent authorized at Danny? Before Danny? The 65 doesn't say. The pilot is guessing. Same words. The pilot is left guessing. That's the latent failure. Here's how to close the guess. If you're a controller, transmit a specific altitude on every descend via, every transmission. If you're a pilot, read back the specific level change you're flying. If you want aviation stories the others don't cover, subscribe.